also, I mean, the terminology is new, but we have been working on it for very long. So it's called locally led adaptation. So we had talked a lot about policy implementation, and UNFCCC, national policy. We had like very good questions as well. But I wanted to discuss about these locally led adaptation only because we had a research recently, and उसमें से बहुत अच्छा मतलब निकल के आया था कि youth are the like I don't know how to say it, but youth are a major driver for locally led adaptation. So I thought I'll just share a little bit of overview of locally led adaptation, and then of course the story. So this was actually planned before the networking session so that we could have a good ground. But abhi I'll just speak about it quickly. We can go next. We'll skip the first slide. No, that's okay. Second. हाँ, so locally led, so adaptation का already Srijanji ने talked about it a lot, and we had, so we already know what is adaptation, but locally led adaptation is, we can keep it also. So locally led adaptation is about how how the beneficiaries of policies or whoever is going to, or whoever is going to be affected in any way on by any by any steps which are being taken, उनको हम कितना डिसीजन मेकिंग में इन्वॉल्व करते हैं, वेदर इट इज़ कम्युनिटी, वेदर इट इज़ यूथ, वेदर इट इज़ सिविल सोसाइटी, इवन प्राइवेट सेक्टर, लाइक टेक्नोलॉजी की भी बात हुई थी. सो हाउ वी कैन इन्वॉल्व देम in the decision making process, especially because it is going to impact them as a beneficiary also, and sometimes in a negative way also. So that's the concept of locally led adaptation, and many people around the world are working on it. There are so many logos there, and there are 8 principles also of this locally led adaptation, which has been developed primarily by IIED, and you must be knowing Salimul Haq, who has been leading on locally led adaptation, and he has been giving all talks to youth as well, and he has been on the advisory of Global Center on Adaptation. So these are the 8 principles. I'm not going into the details because we are high on energy and I don't want to go into this. We are already having technical sessions after that. But just giving an overview of how these 8 principles work. It talks about financial support, how we can, the first principle is about decision making at the lowest level. So जब हम बात करते हैं कल भी हम we were thinking कि policy में इतना कुछ करते हैं but कुछ होता भी है. So when we talk about bottom up approaches, and especially in context to adaptation, so locally led adaptation is a very new terminology, and there has been very many research papers also on what is the barrier of what comes as a barrier for youth when they want to contribute towards locally led adaptation. And especially it comes in terms of financial support. So we have done a study also. You can look at on the, you can have a look on the Global Center on Adaptation's website. I was one of the authors, and we did some case studies also on how schools में अगर education, adaptation education, if happens in school, and how it is building community resilience. So that's a very interesting case study. So you can also have a look at that. Ki climate change education, and especially when we say climate change education, it's mostly we saw from the study that it was adaptation focused, and even teachers wanted adaptation focused only because adaptation के लिए it's very local. So जो local schools होते हैं या local communities होती हैं, उनको जितना आप educate करते हो उनके local context में, they are able to prepare themselves more, and they are able to take action in that very local traditional way. So these are the 8 principles, but it's okay, but you can always read about it, and it's very interesting. It's very one of the, I don't know if I'll do my PhD कभी भी जब मुझे लगा कि मेरे पास इतना patience होगा, I'll be doing it on locally led adaptation. अभी तो मेरे पास नहीं है. So yeah, that's what I know. We can just close it. So okay, so that was it. So कल का एक person बचा था, उस नीतीश Jain. So we'll start with him. Because he wanted to share his story, and kal time nahi tha, and then we go to restless development. I hope you have given your presentation here. We'll have 5-7 minutes for each organization to talk, and how people here could collaborate with you. Please focus on that. Yeah, I've already told. Micah also I had already told. You give your slides now. Okay. Restless, Micah, CEW. You have your presentations here. Laksha, you want to talk or you can just talk? Okay. So Nitish, come. And Kal, I was just checking my Instagram. I got so many followers. So, so Nitish, I saw and I commented also ki I've just got and I wrote that you are going to sing for us because he's a singer as well. So please come, share your story and just sing a song for us.
थैंक यू सो मच मैं एक वीडियो चालू कर सकता हूँ फिर बाद में यूट्यूब पे सर्च करके एक लिख सकते हैं क्या यूट्यूब हेल्दीफाई स्लम्स यूट्यूब पे यूट्यूब पे हेल्दीफाई स्लम्स जीसीजीसी स्लम्स जीसीजीसी Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for creating this energy in the morning itself. And as like I really love addressing such a young crowd, especially because obviously even I'm young and I seek that energy. But like when I talk about my story, it's not much. But then like I'll tell you a bit about how I got into this movement of climate change and human aid per se, social work. So I was studying in Pune. I'm from Vadodara only. It's nearby only. And then like I studied in Pune for my bachelor's. I was like doing my management studies there, and I've always been keen on movements, on different ways we can engage youth in. And we were engaging youth in humanitarian aid organizations. Like I started this GCGC Foundation, where we taught underprivileged kids about their rights, about good touch, bad touch, about environment, about things which actually help them in their life, which is not really taught in the syllabus, right? So like we started with that, and I didn't really have a big exposure to social work before that. And when I actually went in those communities, I like lived with them literally. I realized the privilege which we have. You're sitting in this room, which means that you have a privilege which not even like 2% of the population of the world has. I saw कि हमें जो resources मिल रहे हैं उन resources के लिए उनको हर रोज लड़ना पड़ता है. In terms of climate action, हम जो एक्शंस लेते हैं, जैसे अभी बहुत सारी बात हुई कि हमने लाइट फैंस चालू रख दिए, या फिर हम बहुत बार लिफ्ट्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं, या फिर पानी वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. That is the peak of luxury which they can ask in their lifetime. And I'm talking about not just young people, but people from all the age from that communities. And one most striking thing which I saw in them, in their lifestyle, was in summers उनके घर छपरे के बने हुए होते हैं. छपरे के माने like metal sheds, roof sheds, right? And metal is an element which gets heated up really fast. With the rise of global temperatures, with global warming, हमारे लिए तो summers ठीक है, हम घर के अंदर रहते हैं और like we have fans and ACs, but उनकी हालत बहुत खराब रहती है. इधर कौन कौन घर में रहता है ना? कौन कौन घर में रहता है? हाथ एक बार ऊंचा कर लो तो पता चले कि हाँ क्या ऑब्वियस है क्या नहीं है. इज इट एवरीवन लिव्स इन अ हाउस, राइट? आप सबके घर में फैन, एसी, वेंटिलेशन ऐसा कुछ है? अगर हो तो आप प्लीज हाथ खड़ा करिए. राइट, सबके सबके घर में है. ओके, बट एट द सेम टाइम उनके घर में दे डोंट हैव दीज थिंग्स. एंड व्हाट्स द आउटकम? जो पीक गर्मी में हम चाहते हैं कि यार बाहर से घर जल्दी पहुंचे और अंदर थोड़ी सी राहत की सांस ले, वही पीक गर्मी में दे हैव टू लिव आउटसाइड देयर हाउसेज, दे हैव टू स्लीप आउटसाइड देयर हाउसेज, एंड देन दे हैव टू ईट आउटसाइड देयर हाउसेज. And I'll show you a clip also on the same of how such things affect them in real life. And that's something which really pulled me into this climate movement and even like swayed me to join my family business. I was I was studying in Pune. I was young, wild and free. I was just having fun, being irresponsible as fuck, being irresponsible. But I was not caring about anyone apart from me. But this exposure into social work taught me so much more about not just the world, but about myself, what matters to me and what should matter to me. So I'll show a video on that. So as I said, I come from Vadodara, and ये project है GCGC Foundation का. GCGC Foundation is Global Cool Green City Foundation. It's a registered firm registered NGO, and it has ATG collaborations, ATG certification also. So this is a pilot project which we did, and this is also related to the technology which I was talking about yesterday. I'll give a short brief on this, and then we can move forward. This is outside their houses. Yep. So, as you saw, what's obvious for us is not necessarily obvious for the whole population. What's the like normal day for us might be the highest form of privilege for someone else. And this is the paint which you saw. I was talking about those kind of paints, heat reflective paints. And यही पेंट्स ऐसे हैं जिसको हमने इनके छपरे पे लगाया जो बहुत कंजेस्टेड हाउसेस थे, बहुत छोटे हाउसेस थे, एंड वी कूल्ड इट डाउन. As you saw in the like video also, 17 to 20 degrees centigrades उनके घर का टेम्परेचर कम हो गया, which means कि वो अब actually घर के अंदर रह सकते हैं, which might seem obvious to us, but again it's not to them. So this is the technology which we have a business also in. Why giving a social tangent to it? Because in such communities we don't just want to cool it up. We want to collaborate with all the people here, like जिसकी अलग-अलग technologies है. जैसे कोई vlogging कर रहा है, so we clean those communities, we clean those surroundings. We do water harvesting, we do child development projects, we even do Miyawaki urban forestation. So we work with local governments, we work with corporates, we work with NGOs, we work with all possible relevant stakeholders to make their living sustainable. And sustainable does not only mean full of green trees. It means a person जिसको एक equitable living मिले और उनके rights we like make sure that their rights are upheld. So anyone who seem to be in relevance with us, with our products, if someone is in building segments, I would love to create synergy, and I would love to create this world a cooler and greener place to live in. Thank you. Maybe towards the end of the thing we can. And if tomorrow it's there, I'll even bring I'll even bring a guitar tomorrow if you want. But I'll get a guitar tomorrow and we can do it tomorrow also. Yeah. Thank you. Maybe in the end of this sharing session also. Yeah. I opened Instagram, I saw your first thing, and I was okay. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to.
Okay, sure. So we'll have सब लोग इसको याद रखना, इसको गाना सुनाए बिना इसको जाने नहीं देना है, ओके? अभी
क्या गा सकते हैं? But then, but I'm really bad at singing alone. ठीक है, so सबको साथ में गाना पड़ेगा. What do I sing? थोड़ा जल्दी करना है, I know. ओके सो गुलाबी आके सुना है सबने? ये तो सुना होता है, सब साथ में गाना, ठीक है? गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी, शराबी ये दिल हो गया, संभालो खुद को ओ मेरे यारो, ओ संभलना मुश्किल हो गया. Come on together. गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी संभलना मुश्किल हो गया संभालो मुझको ओ मेरे यारो संभलना मुश्किल हो गया थैंक यू
थैंक यू सो मच। और गाना हम सुनेंगे 2 दिन में और भी ज़्यादा। हाँ, गरबा के साथ साथ गाना। ओके, चलो, restless development will come now. Thank you so much, Nitish. It was very interesting, and people will definitely create some synergy. I'm sure they'll reach out to you for songs also. So please be prepared. So we have Parvati and the name I always forget. Huh? Abhishek, sorry. So we have Parvati and Abhishek from Restless Development, and they would like to share about their organization and some initiatives. Yeah. After that, we have Micah, and then we have CW, and then we have you. Ah, Priyank is there, na? He'll manage. But let's keep it short and to the point because we have less time today.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Parvati, and I'm here with my teammate Abhishek. Uh, it's okay. Closer? Okay. Um,
Hello. Hello.
so yeah, we are from Restless Development, and we are here just to give you guys a brief about the work that we do and a few insights on the youth programs that we have. Uh, Next slide, please. So coming to who we are basically a youth-led agency that is headquartered in the UK, but we have a global presence, one of them being here in India. And we work with young people on various... Yeah. So we work with young people on various social issues that them and their communities face. And we empower them and support them on various fronts. For example, issues such as child marriage, STEM education for girls, HIV prevention, and climate change. One of the programs that we have on environment and climate change is called the Youth Climate Action Lab, which is an ongoing project that's happening in Bangalore currently, which we are a part of. So coming to the Youth Climate Action Lab, it's essentially a program that is designed to tackle the challenges that the underprivileged or the marginalized communities of urban Bengaluru face due to climate change. So how we do that is through youth-led accountability. So what we do basically is go into these communities, we interact with the residents there, we find out what the issues are from their perspective as well, from their experience and their stories. And we collect all these qualitative and quantitative data, and we work on it, we brainstorm and basically, yeah, try to problem solve. And so the program comprises of two major teams, which is the youth climate champions and the youth researchers. So Abhishek and I are the youth climate champions. And the work that we do is mostly peaceful collaborative work. It's not direct confrontation, where we're holding people accountable and or doing mass protests and things like that. It's mostly on the lines of peaceful collaborative work where we try to find solutions rather than um, it's rather about uh, yeah, sorry, it's not finger pointing or blaming, like the government or um, the people who are behind the issues. It's more of collaboration with the organizations that are working already with the community and the government agencies and all the stakeholders that are involved with the community. So yeah, I'll hand it over to Abhishek. He'll brief you about the role, the climate champions and the youth researcher role, and give us a few insights on the community engagement that we're doing.
Hello, hi, good morning. So, next slide. Yeah, so as Parvati already said, YCAL basically focuses on youth-led climate action. So, sorry. As part of this project, there are a number of youth climate champions and youth researchers who works on identifying how climate change has impacted the communities or the people's lives in urban informal settlements of Bangalore. So, then after identification, they will be designing out how we can involve youth towards bringing accountability and youth-led advocacy campaigns in the community, along with the community. That's how we do it. So, to give a brief about the youth climate champions, they're from diverse background who are studying like bachelor's, masters in arts, science, engineering, and so on, and also early working professionals as well. So, like I said, we work in the community along with the community. That is, which means we are not someone who like some restless people or climate champions going into the community and doing our work. We will go there, we will identify how climate change has impacted them, and then we will be identifying youth from the community, and then we will be providing capacity building training, awareness sessions for them, so that we as a team will work in that community towards advocacy campaigns, mobilizing communities, and designing out all other interventions. So to give a brief about the geography we are working, it's mostly in the urban informal settlements like Adigara Kalahali, Anekal Taluk, LR Nagar. You can read up on Ramamurthy Nagar. It's all in Bangalore. And the broad focus area where we are working on is solid waste management, youth livelihood and empowerment, restoration of stormwater, and infrastructure resilience. Next slide, please. So coming to youth researchers, their work little more will be focused towards research, collecting data, how this on the same topic as well, how youth climate change has been impacted the lives of the people. So as we all know, data has a great power to influence the decision makers and also to bring attention on major issues. Data-driven accountability program and campaigns has a greater power. So that's what basically youth researchers do, and their focus area is also around the same only, and the background is the same. Yeah. Next. Okay, so going in depth to the community engagement we having, like I am working in Adigara Kalahali, it's in Anekal Taluk of Bangalore, and the focus area which I working on is youth livelihood empowerment and strengthening. So the rationale behind choosing this focus area was, like after getting involved with the community, one thing which I understood is like 30-40 years back, one of the primary occupation of the people there was agricultural. There were other occupations also, but the major livelihood was agriculture. But due to many factors like decrease in water availability, poor productivity from agriculture, and also introduction of few industries and other job opportunities, as well as increase in land prices, forced them to sell their lands. So basically urbanization happened. So this transition actually done in a manner where they were forced to shift their livelihoods, their traditional livelihoods, and they were forced to look for newer opportunities. So like right now, how the major livelihoods of them are daily, most of them are working in daily wage laborers and domestic works. Especially when we look upon the youths in that particular area, majority of the people I met, they actually dropped out after 10th or +2 and doing some kind of mechanical works in nearby workshops or those sort of daily wage works. So they are earning. So it's not about whether they are earning or not. It's about how much secure it is. They're not having the enough skills to look for more opportunities and they're not getting regular jobs also. So that's how we came to the point that first we need to adapt to the transition that happened there. So that's why we are trying to build awareness in the community on skill development, the importance of skill development or skill development training through collaborating with the government departments and other NGOs who are already working there. Through this, we are trying to adapt first. Also, we'll be providing climate education in the schools, children's, and also the communities, so that we can work towards like retaining agriculture. Initially when we thought about retaining agriculture, the issue is the natural factors as well as people's disinterest is a major challenge, because then they have their own priority to sustain their life at this moment. So adapting to the change as given as first priority, or along with like mitigating and like building awareness among the same climate action. And next slide. Okay, now I'll hand it over to Parvati for her community engagement. Yeah.
Thanks, Abhishek. Coming to the community that I work with, it's in this region called Ramurthy Nagar in the Bengaluru city. So the focus area there is solid waste management. That is one of the major issues that the community is facing. So initially, like as observers, we can make out that waste is a huge problem, because right when we enter the community itself, you can see huge piles of garbage just dumped around the colony. And just a brief profile about the community. There are 400 homes, and the colony residents are mainly migrant workers from the northern regions of Karnataka. And the common occupations are rag pickers, waste collectors, and BBMP workers, BBMP being the municipality body of Bangalore. Unfortunately, the irony is they themselves being, waste collectors and, rag pickers, they are not able to manage the waste in their own locality around their own homes. And there's also a lack of safe and secure infrastructure. There's a lack of clean toilet facilities for them. And also the land is under litigation. So a lot of the government services, it's not available for them, since the government does not deal with land which is under dispute. So this is a community that's facing a lot of issues due to these lack in services. And so it's like a tricky situation, and there's like a power dynamic between the landowner and the residents. So there's like a conflict happening, where the owner wants the residents to evacuate from the land. But how we are intervening is through peaceful collaboration. Again, as I mentioned before, we are trying to work with the residents. We are trying to understand their issues, and in small ways help them through awareness drives and cleanup programs, that we are planning. Um, and yeah, so that's pretty much an overview of our community engagements. Next slide, please. So coming to the last slide of the expected outcomes out of this program. Again, we hope to work with more youth, empower more youth in urban Bengaluru, and then we also aim to collaborate with organizations that are working in the climate change space. We hope to build a coalition with them in the future, and again, work on more projects together. And our eventual goal of this program is fair urban transition, that is in some way contribute to the sustainable development goals and the Karnataka State Action Plan. It's somehow help build a city that is just and fair for all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We have a where's Shantanu? Oh, Shantanu. over to Brahma Kumari story.